Hello, this is Light and Bone Tarot, and I am doing a YouTube reading for you. I have posted 4 pictures. Each picture has a flower and 2 words below it. The words are full bloom, love yourself, take time, and beautiful. This is going to be a love reading. I don't know what direction the reading is going to go. It'll be, I guess, different. Everyone will interpret it differently, but based on what flower and words you pick, we'll see where that reading goes. And I think we'll have more insight at the end why they went in the direction they went. So the first one is full bloom. And if you picked this picture and these words, then you felt something. And let's see where you're at romantically. So I'm giving these a shuffle after really giving them a very hearty shuffle earlier. Okay. So let's see if you picked full bloom. Let's start with these 3 cards. I am not going to do reversals for this reading because my cards are so interdispersed. It'd be hard to, if I did reversals, I would be like, I'd rather one. So let's see. Right now, and we're going to do this romantically speaking, I'm going to say that there's a bit... Okay. I do think there's a bit of conflict. I can't ignore this first card, which is the 5 of Wands. And this card it's not conflict in the sense of heavy fighting. It's not hatred. It's not anger, but it's conflict. It could be yelling matches. It could be rivalries. It could be almost like a silly, almost nothing of a slight argument that could quite potentially turn bigger. But I want to say that these 2 heavy pentacle cards tell me that there's definitely something, this conflict is rooted in something to do with either your home, your foundation, your finances. And when I look at this a little bit more, I feel like possibly the conflict could be that someone is putting a lot of thought and energy into possibly starting a new business, or maybe they really want to save for a house, or maybe put something into the house. But I really do get a feeling that someone is independently starting to think out loud about wanting to almost go in alone on a house, or work something, and we'll come back to this, but there's definitely an independent vibe here. So if this is a couples reading, already I'm thinking that like there's a little conflict. Someone is isolating themselves, whether it's you or the other person, and as a result of that, I feel like people are getting left out. There's something where there's like an uneven disbursement, I would say, of I don't want to say like there isn't enough money to go around, but there's something to show me that like something's been lacking. Like money's being taken from one pot to give to this pot, and I think this pot, this person who wants to do their own thing is stirring the pot. Not to use the word pot so many times, but that's the first line here. And again, this is supposed to be a romantic reading, and the readings are never really about romance. I have to use a different deck to make them solely about romance, because the problems are about so many other things. There's so many other deep-rooted issues that to just do a reading on romance, it takes so much energy, and it absolutely can be done, and artists on here do it beautifully, but a lot of the times when I read, I can get the other problems that come out that might be stifling this. So again, this flower was full bloom, and we're here to talk about romance, and right now we're thinking that there's someone kind of isolating themselves from either the family or from you in the relationship, or possibly from friends. It's creating a struggle, and it makes it seem like there just isn't enough time, energy, and money to go around as a result of this. So I'm going to put down a few more cards here and see where we're at. And to this point, so we've got a Knight and a King here. Okay, so I am getting heartbreak from this. And I don't like that I'm getting heartbreak from it, but I do feel like heartbreak is an outcome. And I'm going to put the Knight here and the Queen here, and this is kind of how I see this unfolding. I see that there is this rushed energy. And you know, I call this card the Knight of Wands. I can't help it, I call it, and I don't think I invented this. I think I read this in a book called What the Fuck is Tarot. This is, to me, it's the fuckboy card. And to me, that just represents either quite literally a fuckboy, or it represents someone who's just coming in hot, thinking, acting before they think, maybe great ideas, maybe ambitious, but just really like so focused on doing without thinking, that I think this is a problematic card to me. So somewhere, and it's interesting, the Knight is, you know, one step of maturity above the Page, but the Page almost has like an innocence to them, where the Knight is more deliberate, it's more focused, it's more like, I know this is what I want to, this is who I want to be, I'm proud to be this person, I'm this kind of like exuberant Knight. It definitely has a chip on their shoulder, definitely has something to prove. And again, for Wands, there is that like very heavy sexual creative energy. And for the Queen of Wands, now this is basically the card that would come after the Knight in the reading. And the Queen to me is much more serene, much more thoughtful, much more intentional, less rushed, and she does have that feminine energy, and she is thoughtful, I think is the perfect word to give to this. She's creative, she acts, she's full of action, she knows herself, she knows what she wants to be doing, she knows what makes her tick, but she isn't a hothead. And she also, you know, she isn't the King, she's not so fully evolved and entrenched in this kind of fiery energy, but she's there. And then we have heartbreak. And because this is a love reading, I'm going to read completely that this is a heartbreak card. So as I explain this, to me, what I'm getting out of this is that there's this person that is rushing in, doing it almost carelessly, almost selfishly, and really to their own benefit, they're just not paying heed to anyone else. And I think that it's causing the people around them to kind of want to act a little bit more, maybe to act more grounded, more secure, less action, more thought, to kind of counteract the fact that this person is such a hothead right now. And I do think the result is that there is tension, there's heartbreak, there's just things aren't really working out. And it does seem like people in this relationship have their own agenda, and they're acting on their own. We have, you know, two people here looking away from each other. You know, the Queen is looking east, the Knight is looking to the west, and what's in between, I couldn't say, but there's a lot of disconnect here. And usually with this card, I feel like the struggle or the conflict can be positive, like it can get somewhere, but it just doesn't. I feel like it's further, it's leading to this heartbreak here. And let's see. So, I mean, this is a full spread as far as you have, you know, we have the wands, the pentacles, the swords. What else am I missing? I'm missing something. Wands, pentacles, swords. Oh, we don't have the cups. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no cups. So there's emotion. There's something. This is a cold reading, and it really is reading cold. There isn't really any emotion here. For this last line, we've got the moon, we've got the Ace of Swords, and we've got the Nine of Wands. This is telling me that the moon card to me is this subconscious energy. It's someone telling you, like, you need to pay attention to your subconscious. There's someone or something within you or externally trying to tell you something, and there's a message you're suppressing, but you probably know what this message is. It's coming to you in your dreams, it's coming to you when you daydream. It's subconsciously there, and it can come through in your fears, your thoughts, the things you're drawn to. It could be a movie you want to watch and you're like, why am I watching a movie about a relationship that's ending versus, I don't know, a movie about like baking or something. Like, it's because there's something that wants to be pulled out of you. So that's what I get by the moon. The Ace of Swords to me is also a card of, it's like fresh thoughts. It tells me that if you can get the subconscious, if you can tap into your subconscious, you're going to have clarity. There's going to be room for new thoughts, new energy, new mindset. And this is a tremendous opportunity because your subconscious it's not going to go away. You have to think about it. You have to understand it. You have to want to you have to want to unlock it. And once you do, you're going to find that A, you're happier, but B, love is something that can flourish once you give it room to. And then this card, the Nine of Wands, also very interesting because I feel like this is you've built up a resilience. There's this kind of like fight, and it's, let's say if there's fight or flight, this is you fighting. You haven't fleed. You had your battle, and this was more of an argument, and this is more of a battle. This is definitely heartbreak. This is like, come on, wake up, open your eyes. This is someone problematic, which could be you, but I don't know, I'm not super getting that vibe. And then this could be you. This could be the person who, you might want to have more of this energy. You might want to be more carefree and less entrenched in this like queenly energy of like, oh, I have to be so mature. I have to be the one keeping it together. I have to know exactly like what to do and when. But yeah, this is you. And I think the result, this isn't working. You're in this relationship. I think you are definitely more of a parent. I think that there's someone with an energy that wants to like always start something new and do it their way and have it their way and have it on their terms. And if this person wants to, I say start a new business, but like it could be anything. I mean, this person could want to like buy a trailer and live in that for a month, but yet that changes so much the trajectory of your relationship and how you do things and how you spend money and how you enjoy your time and how you interact with others. And it does cause conflict. This, to me, romantically speaking, this is, it's not even that it's heavy, it's problematic. In a word, it is just a problematic reading. And I want to give you more hope for this, but it doesn't look good. And okay, so let's say you've got all this and you want to, despite all this, there's something to save here and you want to save it. So let's see, what's on spirit, what you can do. What's a positive action you can take? I don't want to complicate things here too much. Let me move this over here. So we're gonna ask, what's a positive action you can take? Oh, geez. I'll be honest, it's not that positive, because this to me tells me that there's a couple different ways of reading this, but it will get you at the same ending. Okay, you can be the king, which is funny because you're basically already the queen of wands, and really of everything. You are the matriarch. You are the most mature person in this whole setting here. And I almost get the feeling that you don't even want to be that person. You might naturally be that person, but you don't want to be the mom. You don't want to be the one that says, look, we really need to not spend money on this, or we really need to stop doing XYZ because it's creating a problem here. Like, it's not the relationship you want to be in. And quite frankly, it's not sexy. It doesn't make you attracted to the person that you find yourself monitoring, and they, I think, get sick of you as a result, which I think really is where you are. I mean, subconsciously, you probably know that at this point. You probably feel like you're mothering, and you know you gotta change. You know that this isn't gonna work. There has to be a completely fresh approach to this, like a wipe the slate clean, fresh approach. And this is just the card to remind you, basically, like, yeah, it sucks right now. This isn't, you can't exist in this state very long. And it's not even a great state that you're in. And quite frankly, I think you're lonely in regards to your lover. Your lover isn't here. You might have friends and family, but you are in these battles, like, your partner is not really there for you. Sorry, I think this is gonna sound so loud with me drinking. Okay, so this tells me, what can you do? How can you fix this? You would quite literally have to be the king now. Like, you would have to step it up from being the queen of wands to be the king of wands. And this is a hard job. Being king is a very hard job. I'm going to tell you, it's not fun. It is your whole life would have to be made. So if you made this relationship work, which you basically can't because of these cards here, but if you did, you would have to be the king of wands. You would have to be not just the babysitter, not the mother, not the father. You'd have to be everything. You'd have to be the principal. You'd have to be the CEO. You'd have to be the CEO of the relationship. And you would have to rule and control, and it's too much. And the wands, this is the sexual fiery energy. This is the tension. This is the fun part of the relationship. Like, if a relationship is lacking, you're either going to want more wands or more cups. There are no cups in this reading. So the emotions really aren't here. You might have tension, stress, strife, but I'm not getting the emotional. I'm just not getting emotion out of this at all. It's almost like your relationships become very transactional. I'm sure the emotions and the passion were here at one time, because we do have such a heavy wand energy. It does make me think, like, yeah, there's passion. And I think you guys actually have quite a bit of passion. I think there is I think sexually you guys are still together because you do have this fire for one another. And I get the impression that one of you is younger. Maybe if you're not significantly younger in years, you act quite a bit younger, or your life is now taking a path that is younger. Like, maybe that person is going back to school, something you do in your early 20s, whereas maybe you guys are quite a bit older than that. But I get the feeling that there's a dynamic where someone is more mature and hence older, or acts as such, or needs to act as such. So to make this work, you'd have to be the king. You don't want to be the king because you don't want to be the queen, so you really don't want to be the king. And this is anxiety, this is nightmares, this is basically an unpleasant feeling. And I can swap these two cards or read these differently, but basically, being the king, you would be so stressed and unpleasant that you would have to you would have to isolate yourself. You would have to find a way to exist on your own without this situation. And I guess if you can do this, if you can find a getaway, maybe you could make this work. Maybe you could take all your passion and it could work, but you would have to completely create your own space in your mind, in your body. This is a physical and mental getaway that you would need. And I mean, this could be like, okay, if you guys are living together, you don't live together anymore, you have that space, you don't even see where this person's spending their money or wasting their energies because it's not your problem. You detach from that part of the relationship, which the hope would be that ultimately you wouldn't have to be the king anymore if you did that, because this is going to be a hard role for anyone to play in a relationship. It's not to say you couldn't do it, and maybe you could, but there would definitely be, it would be hard. If you could detach a little bit, you might find some peace in it. Yeah, so maybe a little letting go, taking a step back, stillness. You could get a different perspective and you could see this differently. I think there is something to that for me, if you are interested in that. Because I will tell you, this reading, okay, so the emotions aren't here, but I don't get out of this anything about, like, I don't get like a heavy, like I don't get like a toxic energy, I don't get like a cheating, I don't get like a, I'm not getting an energy that this relationship is toxic or needs to be left. The word problematic keeps coming into play. And I do think that someone needs to grow up. So yeah, this is kind of like what you would need to keep in mind moving forward. And now for the partner, who we haven't read for yet, this has all kind of been about you, but let's see what they would need to do to kind of make this work. So this is for your partner, and my advice to them, or for you to give to them, is I'm going to stick with the Knight of Pentacles, because here we have the Page of Pentacles. If your partner can turn into the Knight of Pentacles, I think he would find, I think he'd be more appreciative. I think if he can ditch this Knight of Wands energy, because the Knight of Wands is, to me, and when I say fuckboy, that doesn't mean your partner is out doing things that you would despise. To me, that energy can be sexual, or it can just be someone who is hasty and silly and careless and selfish and self-serving. So I don't want to turn that into like an unfaithful, like misogynistic person. But it is someone still that it's so temporary that you can deal with a Knight of Pentacles or a Knight of Wands, relationship speaking. Like, this person has to evolve. They have to grow out of this energy. But the Knight of Pentacles is a good energy, because this Knight is, he's focused, he's determined, he's not hasty, he is almost like humbled. He wants to learn, he wants to work, and there is something, humbled is a word, and this card that comes after it is also, interestingly enough, a card of, like, to me, it's simple pleasures. It's taking a step back. It's kind of seeing the beauty in things that maybe you overlooked at one point. And this is your Cups card, and this is the first Cups that are coming out in this reading, and I love that it is, because it's needed here. And it, even though it's not like an overly lovey-dovey emotion, there is an energy to it that is like, this person they would love you. They probably do love you very much, but they would love you differently than I think you've seen in a while. It hasn't been here. This is like let them do them. Let them, if you can take a step back and give them their space to just figure out whatever this thing is that they have to do or accomplish, give them the space to do it. they will calm down. I mean, this person is pretty chill. They will, materialistically, and I think from a sense of like how active they are, physically and emotionally, they're going to start to kind of like come back to center and come back to home. And by that, like, I don't know, an example of this card to me is like, this is someone who can sit and have like a glass of wine or a cup of coffee at home and just be really happy. Like, this to me is the card of you guys like calmed and chilled. And then this is a card of, it's celebration, and they're both sixes in the deck, which is interesting. We have a lot of repeats number wise, which tells me, you know, there's a theme, and it always takes like a whole spread to get there, but there is a theme. And so the sixes here for me is like, I really think, this can work. This is someone, this is recognition, this is respect, this is someone who I think would be proud. This is self-respect too. I mean, this is getting respect and giving respect and respecting yourself. There is a sense of adornment here. There's a sense of just kind of like doing the right thing. Like, to me, this person in this card is a good person. They are being celebrated, and it's for the right reasons. That's what I get out of this spread right now. So I think that this person who is chaotic right now could come around. They're still gonna want this project, but they're gonna chill out a little bit. You're not gonna fight and argue as much. In fact, you're gonna start to maybe appreciate each other a little bit more, and I think emotion is gonna come back into the relationship. I think you guys are always gonna have that sexual chemistry, but I think it won't be so hot and heavy. There's gonna be a little bit more calm and emotion. And I think truly the takeaway from all of this is it's gonna get there if you take a step back. And I don't want to say detach in like a fully detached way, but you can't be the king. You really can't be the queen. You're gonna have to be like, look, I'm gonna let you run your own course. I'm here, but I can't control you. I can't tell you what to do, and I can't make it my problem or my responsibility. I can't stress about what you're doing, and so this is your future. And honestly, this reading, you know, it seems stressful in the beginning, but the more I look at it, it's good. It's positive. I didn't think it was in the beginning, but it is. And I definitely think, I mean, this heartbreak card is here for a reason. This card's here for a reason. There's definitely going to be some fighting, some chaos, some hurt, but you guys do have a passion. You come back to each other. And even this moon card, like, this card can also be like a deep connection, kind of like I don't want to, like, there can be a sexual energy to this card. Let's put it that way. This card can be very like sexually deep and connective. And I think that could bring you guys to like see new things, and then you could, you know, fight, and all this nonsense hasn't gone away, but you're gonna have to get here and take a step back for it to go away. And this last line is nice. So yeah, I hope this was interesting, and I hope it helps. And speaking of full bloom, I feel like it's kind of like full circle. It's kind of like saying, you guys can make this work. There isn't really an ending here. Like, I think you guys can, you know, you work your way around, and you can come full circle in a way, not in a repeat your patterns kind of way, but in a, like, you guys are, maybe you're at full bloom right now, and you're gonna have to step back and die off and do things a little differently. So full bloom for you is kind of chaotic, but just know that, like, you're gonna come around. There's gonna be spring soon, and this new growth and this new kind of season for you guys is good. And you know, we have a new moon. It's I think it's December 11th. It's basically here, and that is new beginnings. We've got winters coming. Days are going to be getting longer. There's definitely a newness, and I'm not saying all this is going to change when winter hits or when you get a new moon, but I personally feel like by spring and this card reminds me of spring, this card reminds me of spring. I feel like you're really going to be in a different place if you can do this. So use winter for all her darkness and cold and loneliness, and come spring, when the sun starts coming out a little bit, lean into it, and you'll have I think you guys can work. If not, that's fine too, but usually you guys are here because you want to make it work. And yeah, that's what I get out of this. So, and if you don't make it work, or you can't make it work, or if you're thinking this is all too much and you don't want to make it work, that's okay too. Because there is definitely, this is a relationship to me that is heavily reliant on passion. And this last line to me, there's less passion here. There's more like respect, communication. There's more depth in this last line, but I don't even know, we don't know if that even works for you guys. I think it could, but it's very different than the rest of this. So this fiery chaos that you guys find yourself in, which I think is exhausting you, both of you, yeah, it could, you could get here if that's what you wanted. So great, thank you so much, and we are gonna go with the next reading now. Okay. Hello, picture 2. Thank you so much for joining. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that this is one of my first YouTube videos that I've been putting up. So thank you so much for tuning in and giving this a chance. I hope that I hope you enjoy it and that it works for you and you get something out of it, because I really enjoy doing it. I believe in it wholeheartedly. I believe that Spirit has a hand on the cards, and that this reading is meant for you. If you're here, then I think it's meant for you. And even if at some point, hopefully in my channel, there are who knows how many thousands of people watching and tuning in, I still think that the reading you find is meant for you. And I think everyone gets something different out of these readings, and that's the whole point. So let's get into this one. This picture I wrote, Love Yourself. So in the last reading, we determined at the end of the reading why it said full bloom, or why you picked full bloom. But this is Love Yourself. So we'll figure out by the end of this why you were drawn to this pile. And yeah, so this is a romantic reading, but more often than not, the romantic readings always take a turn that are like heavy on everything but romance. So we'll see what the problems or the not problems are in your life right now. Okay, so we'll get started here. There's just some heavy cards. Okay, so we've got Judgment. That's a fun one. We've got the Eight of Swords, and we've got the Knight of Cups. So just looking at this, Judgment is one of those cards where I'm always wondering how do we apply judgment? Because it's not the word judgment. I don't think there's it doesn't always mean judgment. I think there's more of this inner voice, this struggle, this battle, yeah. So to me, right now, just looking at this, and we'll do some more layers soon, I'm seeing that you or your partner, I'm going to say this is the Knight of Cups. This person is the Knight of Cups, and we don't know if it's you yet or your partner, but it's someone who is thoughtful. It's someone who is determined, who wants, I think, to be a good communicator, who wants to be a good person, who wants really to do the right thing. I think they're determined to be a good person. And I have nothing bad to say about the Knight of Cups. The Knights in general can be like flighty and chaotic, but the Knight of Cups to me isn't. There's a thoughtfulness here, and there's a beauty to this card that is really positive. So already quite positive. These are interesting cards, and they are heavy. And then we get Judgment, and then we have the Eight of Swords. I feel like this person is basically judging this person. I think we have someone who thinks they are better than, and I feel like the person who is being judged in this scenario is, I think it's someone who is, when I say weak, I don't mean weak, oh geez, that is quite a glare, isn't it? I don't necessarily mean weak, like they are a weak person, but I think they've been through a lot, and I think they're hard on themselves, and I think that they judge themselves, quite frankly, worse than anyone else does or could. But it doesn't change the fact that this person is judging. And the weird thing about that is this person doesn't want to do that. I think this person is very good intentioned, but they are either so skilled at communicating, so in touch with their emotions. There's just something very kind of mature and maybe even simple about this person. Whereas this person to me is, even if they are mature, there's more of chaos to this person. So I think in this relationship, I'm seeing that there are two kind of opposite energies. And I do think, I don't know who's who is whom, who's who. But I do think that this would definitely be like an opposites attract energy. And I feel like there is something where someone is judging, and it's hard for me because I want to like this person, but I think without even intentionally doing it, they're causing this person more strife than necessary. So someone is hurting, but someone's hurting, it's not just this person's fault. I think this person is feeling attacked for reasons beyond. I just get the sense that there's a heavy energy here, and that someone needs to kind of quite literally love themselves, and I get that out of this person. And I don't know, and it might be different for everyone watching who, I can't say if you're watching you're this person or you're this person, but I do feel like this is a true situation where we have two very different personality types, probably with two very different upbringings, I'm thinking, two very different backgrounds, and it doesn't mean that they aren't equal. I mean, everyone's equal, but it doesn't mean that, you know, you guys can work for the same company, you can have the same job, you can make the same amount of money, you can have the same level of education. Like, but I just think that when it comes to dealing with personal matters, you were brought up differently and you handle things differently. So that's what I'm getting out of that. And so just to go at this a little bit more. So, okay, so I'm getting, so there we have the Empress, the Moon, and we have the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords is like it's kind of like a transition. It could be travel, it could be leaving a situation, but it definitely is transition. It's going from one point to another, and this can be physically taking a trip, or it can be like in your mind. It can be like a decision's made and you're like, I'm not doing it that way anymore. I'm doing it this way. I'm quite literally transitioning from being someone who does this to someone who does this or handles things one way. So the Empress, this is one of my favorite cards in the whole deck. It is strong, powerful, heavily feminine sexual energy. This card can be a man, of course. I think of a woman because it's a picture of a woman, but this is like it's just feminine energy. It is fierce feminine energy. I mean, the Empress is someone that like, it's not only do you not mess with her, it's not like you don't mess with her because she's so tough and mean and quick with her words. You don't mess with her because you love her so much. You respect her. You want to be her. She is fierce. She's feminine. And I feel like the Empress is this person because this person here is so sad and confused and lonely, but this is from a mental standpoint. Like mentally they are tormented, but that doesn't mean in so many other ways that they aren't incredibly strong and powerful and capable and loving and nurturing. It doesn't mean they aren't like an amazing mom or friend or whatever. It just means mentally they're being tormented. And that's what I get from this top row. There is someone who is kind of emotionally tormenting someone who is a little more mentally unstable or less stable. But that person could be the Empress. And to this point though, the moon to me is like, it's very much a subconscious. The moon is, there's this like, it's a mysterious, it could be like your dreams coming to life. It's subconscious. So there's something in you, there's thoughts, there's energies, there's visions where you might be trying to suppress them, but they're there. And the moon is basically reminding you like, look, you need to let these things come to light. It could be a form of therapy for situations like this, or it could just be in general, like there's something nagging at you. So bring it to the surface. And then this is like this to me is like a stop what you were doing. You aren't doing it right. Try this instead. But these are to me, like these cards are great. They're positive, but when I combine it with this, I feel like this person who looks and is so strong, is strong to the world. I do think it's the mentally tormented person, but I think they're so strong, so beautiful, so fierce, so respected. I think this person has demons, and I think these demons are not demonic, but I think that this person has some sorting out to do, and I think that you're probably at a point where you have to start doing this. You have to address whatever's on your mind, because quite frankly, relationship speaking, you want to be on the same plane level as your partner. And if your partner is like more emotionally available and mature and capable, you want to be there with him, and you're not right now. And that's too bad. So far it's telling me like, you are this person, you want to be this person, you want to get back to being this person. You really have to address what's going on. Things that maybe you've pushed aside for a while, and there's definitely a change. There's a transition that needs to happen. And this is all very heavy so far. And again, the theme of this was love yourself. So this is so accurate to a love yourself title. Sorry, it's my tea. Actually, it's a hot toddy, but okay. So if we look at this next line for a little more clarity here. I'll leave this just as it came out. I think that the person right now that is struggling, and again, I hate to say that it's not, when I say you, I hope whether it's you or your partner, no one wants to be there. So I can't say who I hope it is or it isn't, but whoever is struggling, they are incredibly strong in so many ways, and they have so many skills and talents and just natural abilities that they're going to be fine. They just have to address some things. But I do think that the person who is quite frankly struggling, there is an action they need to do. You need to act on this. And I hate to say that because I don't want to push anyone to do anything that they aren't ready to do. So that's not the point. But I do feel like there's an action that needs to take place. And I think that action is like, it is an opening up. And this is the next card. It's quite literally, it's an opening up of emotion. It is starting to talk. It's starting to let people in. It's a love. It's letting love in. And that is actually, sometimes I'll stare at these cards and I don't even get the message until after the fact. But yes, this is whomever is struggling needs to quite frankly let love in. Love for themselves, love from others. It is a invite love into your life card. And it is a do that with someone, trust someone, love someone, engage with someone, interact with someone. I do get the feeling that it is the person in this relationship we're speaking of, but it might not be. It might be a parent, a child, a therapist, a friend, someone that you need to repair, someone that can help you repair a situation. But for the sake of this reading, let's say it is your partner. I think there's definitely, you need to open yourself up emotionally, you being the person who's struggling. And as I read this, I do think it is the person who's listening to this that is struggling. That's the energy I'm getting. I could be wrong, but if you're thinking it's you, then it probably is. And I think, which is so cool about this, is if you do this is the King of Cups. This is telling me like you could really step into a King of Cup energy. That is like the ultimate in knowing yourself and feeling yourself and being confident and being a communicator and being strong with your feelings and emotions. And you know, that's a lofty goal to say that you want to be the King of Cups if you're quite literally struggling. But the thing is, the struggle up here is mental. It tells me that you have, especially seeing the Empress, you have all the faculty within yourself to be this emotionally vulnerable, loving person, but your mind is just, it's getting in the way of it. And quite frankly, you know, this is like a mind and heart battle. So I think you do have the heart, it's there, but you've locked it away. And maybe you need to go and search sorry. Excuse me, maybe you need to go in search of your heart. Like maybe you need to find it. It's not easy, it is a struggle, but once you find it and you open up and you let people in, yourself included, I think you're gonna find that like you can really be as strong as this person. This person is the Knight of Cups, but this is the King of Cups. Like you would have everything this person has from an emotional maturity standpoint, and that could absolutely save your relationship and your sanity. So let's move this over here, and I'm gonna give you a couple tips about like how you can make this work. Just some advice. These are all upside down. I don't read upside down. So let's see here. This is just straight magic on every level. Let me take a minute with this, because this is like you asking for advice, how to handle it. I don't even know where to start with this. This is just, okay, this tells me, give me a minute here. This tells me quite literally you can do whatever you want. And again, the Empress, this would be the Empress energy here. I just feel like you have this gift to literally make magic happen. I think you have this sort of inner spiritual guidance that you maybe haven't been tapping into. Maybe you've been so heart/mind focused that you haven't kind of opened yourself up to this other world of, quite frankly, magic. But I think that once you can start opening up a little, get in the habit of communicating more, loving yourself, letting people love you, you're gonna find this like magical doorway that you can enter through, and you're going to, I think, get much more in touch with yourself or the world or whatever spiritually. I think you're definitely gonna find a guidance there. I think you're gonna find hope and love there. And I think, I mean, this is the Seven of Cups, and this is like this card just makes me think of like tripping, basically. It's like it's dreams, it's fantasies, it's illusion, it's good and bad, but it's just this like, from an emotional standpoint, you've got this. You're going to be very happy, and I think you're going to be able to make whatever you want happen. I think this basically tells me, through loving yourself, letting people in, all that, you're gonna have the power to stay in this relationship if you want to stay in it, or leave if you want to leave. I really, truly, like, you are gonna have the complete and utter strength. And if you want to tap into some like spiritual sign that directs you to stay in the relationship or leave the relationship, but you're gonna have that strength to do whatever you want. So just know, if this is the relationship you want to be in, yeah, you're gonna be able to stay in it. You are gonna have to, and you will absolutely step it up. You'll love yourself. You'll never be this person again that was so fragile and wounded. I mean, granted, that's a part of you and it's a part of your past, and there's nothing wrong with that, and it makes you interesting. It gives you depth. It gives you insight. It helps. It's part of who you are, and you should never abandon that. But you don't need to make that your identity. And if you want to leave this relationship, you're gonna be able to leave. So whatever you want to do with this relationship, you're gonna be able to do, and it's not gonna break your heart. It's gonna basically be like the best thing that ever happened to you, one way or the other. I can't tell you what that is, but I can tell you that it's going to be a very good, positive experience, whatever you decide to do. This is a great reading. I'm going to give you one more line here, and this is kind of like, let's just see. I don't want to say, I would say if you stayed in the relationship, this is what it looks like. But let's just say, let's take it out of the relationship, and let's just say if you follow the advice here to really, and when I say love yourself, that's so cliche, but with that is going to come some level of therapy, some level of opening up, some level of like putting in work to be less judgmental of yourself, less hard on yourself, more accepting, and more vulnerable. There's a lot that goes with that, but I think you can absolutely do it. I think if you do that, let's not say if you leave or stay in the relationship, but let's just get a glimpse of your future. If you do that, well, this is the most grim line of the whole reading. Let's try not to make this as heavy as it is. Okay. Funny. We should have just stopped while we were ahead. Okay, so let's look at this, because I'm joking, of course. Give me a minute. I think, and of course we have cups here. We're having pentacles for the first time, which is interesting. So we have 4 in the tower. I think this is such a weird line. I don't like it. I'm gonna add another card to it because something's missing. Okay. Let's get some stuff here. Okay. I think, all right, let me look at this. Okay. I think right now, with this lack of love that you're giving yourself, I would say there's an element of you right now that is apathetic. And apathy it's a, oh my gosh, what is it when you do it to person? It's self-preservation. It's a way to not get in your feels. It's a way to remain neutral. It's a way to not have to be so, to feel everything. And it's also a way to keep people at a distance and to not be vulnerable. So I'm gonna say, we're gonna squash that. We're gonna put this here. Okay, I think with this cups, heavy cups, if you do everything we talked about here, and this is beautiful, it's magic, it's positive, it's good, and this line was like, what does it look like for you if you do this and your life's perfect, you stay with this person, you leave them, it doesn't matter. But I think what's gonna happen is you are, from an emotional, happy place, you're just gonna be reinvented. I mean, you're really gonna be able to just, it's a reinvention of yourself. It's saying goodbye to any torment you had emotionally. I think you're really gonna find happiness. I think you're gonna find an opportunity to kind of like start fresh. And I think you're just gonna find some kind of a clean slate. And and again, you'll get this through staying in the relationship or leaving, we don't know, but with this just re-emergence, this cleansing, this, I mean, it's just a cleansing of the past, and it's like you're just walking through a waterfall and you come out completely refreshed on the other side. You are gonna just burn down your past. And with that, I think this apathetic approach that you might have had to things that didn't do you any favors is done. And the final card here is Pentacles, which we haven't seen come up yet. But I think you're going to attach yourself. You're going to become more attached. Is really the takeaway here. I think that this is going to lead to you having more personal passions and endeavors, and I think it's going to make you become, quite frankly, more attached. This is a card of detachment, apathy, like I've said, and to me this card tells me that you probably haven't really been this person. Maybe you've always been kind of flighty in other areas of your life, or unaffected / detached in other areas of your life, your home, maybe your family, maybe your work, maybe relationships. And I just feel like you're going to start to be more grounded, and you're going to start to embrace things that you really haven't before. And although this does look heavy, it's heavy because, you know, all the magic happens, is exciting, you've got this fresh new beginning, but then there's work, and then it is the real world, and then you do have to deal with the fact that you are now more emotionally in tune, and life's hard. But even though you're going to feel more, I believe, and get more out of every situation, for better or worse, it is going to make you happier, and it will result literally in your world just being wonderfully reinvented. And I just think things are gonna really, really work out for you. And again, if you struggled with work, or finding yourself financially, or I just think everything's gonna come around, and you're really gonna find more things to define yourself. And I think that's gonna do everything for your relationship. But this is a love yourself spread. Again, even without the fact that them writing on the card said love yourself, that's what this is about. So it is entirely accurate. And thank you so much for watching this, because I hope it was needed, and I hope it speaks to you. So thank you very much. Pile 3. I'll give a quick introduction because, as I've mentioned for the other pictures, or picture 3, I'm very new to YouTube. I'm not so new to tarot, but I am new to doing this on YouTube. You can probably tell, you might be one of my first views. And it is very, very, very exciting for me to be doing this. It's a passion of mine, and I am so grateful, is really what it comes down to. I'm very happy to be doing this and to be here right now in this moment. So sorry for fiddling, honestly. I had some really interesting 2 readings prior where the word on the card was, or the word on the picture was so accurate to the reading. So this is what you were drawn to, and it's called Take Time. So let's see how accurate we can get on this Take Time reading. Okay, so we'll jump right in here. I'm going to take a pause and reshuffle because these 3 cards came up in the last reading. Actually, you know what? I shuffled my cards thoroughly. I really did. So scratch that. I'm not going to pause and reshuffle. I'm going to go with it. This is your reading. Okay, so to start, this is, actually only 2 of these cards came up, excuse me. This is a great first line, and sorry for the glare. I'll have to troubleshoot through that. But we've got the World, we've got the Star, and we've got Judgment. And to start, knowing that this is a love reading, let me just absorb this for a second. So I see this as like something's kind of like coming to completion, but in in a good way. I get there's a sense of like, there's a spiritual energy here, and then there's also this, with the Judgment card, I feel like there's also a weight of like, I don't want to say judgment, I want to say like an inner voice, an inner direction. It's hard when you have 3 major cards. I've almost never had 3 major cards come up in a row. So as positive as this top line is, and right now I can't see anything from love out of it, but we will absolutely get there. Let's just, we'll have to do another line because this is so, it's an odd first line. So let's bring this out here. Okay. So just to talk about the first line again for 1 second, I get the impression that there's either like a spiritual awakening, a self-evaluation, an inner calling, and I feel like there's a need to really grow or to evolve. There's a part of you that wants to, I don't want to say reinvent yourself, but there's a part of you that wants a change, and I do think it's a change coming from within, and I think it's something that maybe you've been thinking about for a while, but I feel like just now there's probably this time within you where you're like, this is the time to start acting on what I've been kind of deeply contemplating. Maybe not something that you have even talked to anyone else about, but I feel like there's something within you that you want to change. And this could be the Judgment. I mean, it could be something that's like, I don't want to say simple, but I say when like you want to change, it could be like changing like eating or drinking habits or sleeping habits, or it could be like, well, I mean, those are heavy things, but like it could be heavier, and like maybe you are someone who hurts people through things that you do and you really want to change that, or it could have a heavier energy to it. I don't know, I'm not getting a feel from that, but the World is a beautiful card, and it is this card of like beautiful completion, accomplishments, seeing things through, coming full circle. So I do feel like whatever it is that you are inclining towards wanting to work on, I think this is a positive card to get, because it tells me that you're going to achieve this. We're not talking about like 10 years of therapy. We're talking about like really, I think it's a mindset. I think it's just a conscious decision to do something differently. And so because this is a relationship reading, we'll try to bring it back to that. So this next line, I'm thinking, so we've got emotions, we've got thoughts, and we've got like work or home here. And it is interesting that we'd have these 3, up here we have 3 major cards, and now we have like, I don't know, 3 suit cards. I don't know, maybe it's not that weird or interesting. But I feel like, let's say this is your partner, and the Knight doesn't have to be a male, but it is a male, it's a masculine energy all the same, but it is someone who is determined, someone who is intentional. It's someone who knows what they want. And so when I see the Knight of Cups, I think of someone who is like intentionally offering feelings. I feel like it's someone who is confident in what they want emotionally. This is someone who is vulnerable, who is comfortable being vulnerable. And that's a beautiful thing. I like this card. I like it in a romance reading. So if this is, say, your partner, I think emotionally they're a good person. They're positive. They're probably very good for you. Up here, I don't see anyone else in this line. This is all you. The Judgment is you, the World is you, and the kind of like spiritual quest of sorts, like this is all you. And I think it's a good thing. I don't want to say you're all in your head. I think this is absolutely where you need to be, and we'll probably get more on this. But here we've got these last 2 cards. I feel like there's this is your partner, but this is you with the thoughts. Your partner comes with the emotions. You come with the thoughts. I think you are don't want to say flighty, but a part of me thinks that there's something flighty about you, that you are possibly emotionally unavailable, not quite emotionally tuned in. And I do think there's something about you from like I think you're quick to dismiss things. I think you're quick to, I don't want to say argue your way out of things, but I just think you are someone who maybe has a comeback or a snapback for everything, and you don't necessarily get too emotionally attached to situations or relationships because you can always kind of just talk your way out of it with something. Like something that should turn into, like, quite frankly, a conversation. Like, let's say your partner wants to have a discussion about feelings or something of that nature. You could easily dismiss it with a joke that is clever and well placed, but it cancels out the fact, or it throws your partner off, and they're like, well, I don't really want to talk to you about my feelings now. You just kind of made a joke with it. Even if it's true, now I don't want to talk. And then you don't talk. And I guess an example of that could be like, oh my gosh, your partner could be like, hey, why are we having wine every night with dinner? And you could be like, I don't know, what would you rather drink with dinner, apple juice? And they'd be like, well, no, that's not the point. I wanted to talk about why we're drinking every night, but okay, fine. You know, like, that was a stupid example, but I think you get the point. This last card in this row, which is the that's my dog. The Three of Pentacles is, in a nutshell, it's teamwork. And I think this to me is like, there's nothing sexual about this card. There's nothing physical about this card. There's almost nothing really emotional about this card, except that it is communicative. This isn't a card of isolation. This is a card of absolutely teaming up with someone. And that teamwork is kind of like building a structure or building a foundation, which I think the work up here you'd be doing on yourself would go towards building a foundation. You know, this is like a hypothetical situation. Of course, I don't think you're going to go out and like lay bricks or whatever, but I think that there is work to build a foundation. So yeah, I just get out of this that you're somewhat dismissive. You're not too in touch with your emotions. Your partner is, and somehow, and I would say your partner probably wants to do more work with other people, whether maybe you aren't going out socially enough, maybe you want to stay in more. I feel like, or maybe you're the person that wants to do this, but there's something about like, this isn't happening and it should. And I'm just going to call it teamwork, but there's a vibe here. We'll get to that. Okay, so we have the Nine of Wands, the Page of Wands, and the King of Swords. And here I'm going to say, so I'm going to say for this next line here, I think you're the King of Swords. And actually, no, I don't think you're the King of Swords. Well, actually, maybe you are. Okay, because I always like to go with my first initial placement. That's why I didn't want to reshuffle the cards, because these are here for a reason. It's your message. Spirit does this, not me, and I believe these cards are here for a reason. And with the King of Swords, I'm gonna say you might not be emotionally in tune. You can be, because I think you have all the, I'm gonna say, faculty to do that, and I think you really want to tap into yourself spiritually. I get that you are, there's something in me where I feel like you have to look within. There's something in you that needs to be pulled out and brought to life. And I do, and I hate saying the word spiritual too many times, but spiritual can translate to like, that can be a relationship. That can turn into like, if you're more in touch spiritually, you're gonna be like more sexual, more passionate, more engaging, more everything. Like with that comes this whole sense of self that might not have been there before. And I think that ignites a passion. There's something to that. So I get how this top line here would absolutely funnel into your relationship or relationships, but this takes time. And this is a messy line. It's like, I don't even understand this line, but there's nothing physical, there's nothing really loving. It's almost there's something very, very platonic about this whole energy to me. And even this energy, I think you're a very physical, passionate person. And in fact, I think your partner might not be, if I'm getting that. I think your partner might be someone who doesn't in any way share an element of passion that you have. And that doesn't mean it can be like an opposites attract thing, but there's something I'm getting out of this that is very dry. But for this next line, I'm going to say you're the King of Swords. And this isn't a bad thing, but it's not necessarily a good thing. And if you're the King of Swords, then what that means to me is that you are so quick-witted. You are so swift with your words, you're cunning, you're so mentally capable and sharp that you might not be that passionate. Even if you are, you're so quick to like always have the right thing to say, always have a comeback, that it might actually quell passion. It might make someone, it might intimidate them, it might scare them off, it might make them feel less than. And maybe you are making your partner feel less than, absolutely not intentionally, but maybe you're mentally stronger than they are, and it's creating a rift or a divide, more of a divide. I don't even see fighting, because fighting to me would be passion, but I don't even see that in this. I just feel like you're literally going in different directions. And maybe this card isn't that you guys should go out more. Maybe it's that your partner is actually going out more and teaming up more and finding, maybe he enjoys his work and he's so like just pragmatic and just does things in a way that makes you just numb with boredom. And so maybe he's out like working hard and doing things with other people that he has common interests with. Whereas you're like, I'm looking within, I'm finding myself, I'm on my own quest. And I just feel like for whatever reason, you guys aren't coming together. And I'm sorry, because this isn't a very romantic reading, but let's see, we can get there. Because the first picture I did called Full Bloom it started off really bad and it had a great ending. So let's just see where we're at. So, okay, I do think you're the King of Swords. I think you are very sharp, and I actually think there's a level of cunning to you. And I think as a result of that, you do get isolated. I think you can absolutely find yourself in that kind of like fight or flight mode where you are either you've fought a battle and you're alone as a result of that, or you have left and you're alone as a result of that. But I see that for whatever reason, you're just not surrounded by people for whatever reason that is. And if you, I don't know, there's something, or if you have people around you, they're not getting you. They're either not on your level or they're just not getting you. And I want to say they're not on your level, but it's a weird thing to say. But I think if you can like chill out from being the King of Swords for a little bit and kind of, maybe you have to do some battles. Maybe you have to find that passion, that energy, that fight. And quite frankly, maybe you have to do battle, like physically, not physically like throw punches, but like really involve yourself emotionally and physically in a cause and in something that's just going to bring out this passion in you. Because I think I see that passion up here, and to me this is up here. There's this drive to change. There's something about you that wants to change and evolve, and I get that. And I feel like the person you're with, I just feel like it's gray, it's boring, it's dull. You're not on the same page. Maybe you once were, you're not anymore. And I think as a result of it, it's turned you into this like mentally superior person who might be mentally superior, but kind of has to prove it. I want to see you fight. I want to see passion. I just want you to get that passion back. Let's move on to the next Let's see a little bit about how you can do this. And let's try to bring this back to romance, because there's got to be a theme here. All right. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna say if this next line is how do you do this? And by do this, it's like we want you to be ignited. We want you to find what it is that lights you up. Because this, I know I'm repeating myself, but this first line here, this is like an exciting, it's beautiful, it's colorful, it's exciting, it's everything. Like, it's a great, I look at this and I'm like, oh, this is someone, so much possibility, but like you're doing things, like things are happening. They might be happening internally, but like they are happening. This is gray, dull, and boring. This is kind of like, okay, whatever happens up here has to lead to you getting passionate about something. And maybe you are a thinker. I mean, maybe you are someone who, you're such a thinker that even if you are creative, you've put that aside, you've lost that. Maybe you've lost yourself. Maybe you have a job that doesn't require anything of you creatively and you're just constantly thinking. But this is going to help you get back to it. Right now, I don't see that your partner is the person for you at all. But even if they are, you've got to do this, and this is what could take time. And how to get back to that, like how to find this passion, how to make this happen and become this person you want to be, just excited and ignited and just lit. I think you need to not be the King of Swords, try being the Queen of Swords, like take a step back. We know you're not going to be the Page of Swords, but try being the Queen. The King is so intense. He's not even nice, honestly. He might be fun for a good grip comeback, but he's not even nice. And I don't even know that he's totally likable. Whereas I feel like the Queen of Swords she's fair, she's honest, she's smart, she's definitely cunning, she definitely has all those traits, but I think she's likable. And I think that this is what you need to get back to. And something about this tells me you know that you need to get back to being a more likable person. And maybe that's what this gray is here. And maybe that's why your partner is spending more time with other people, discussing important things or things that he's curious or interested about with other people, because maybe you're not hearing him. Maybe you think what he says is silly or simple, and quite frankly, it probably isn't, but you're just on one right now. So yeah, try being the Queen of Swords. And I think if you work hard at this, if you put the work in, and being a Pentacle card like this, I think if you, there's something to me about this card, like, I don't want to say focus on your home, but there's something about like, almost like physically putting the work in. And this could get back to this like creative energy. I feel like creatively you need to get out of your head and you need to start doing things more action physically. So I think that there's going to be hard physical work. In one way, whether it's work that makes you money or whether it's like hard physical work to get you to a more humbled state. I just see that happening. And then I think once you do that, you're gonna be you're almost gonna find that there's something like lighthearted and silly about you. You're going to see the world differently than I think you ever have. And this is a good thing. The Fool is a great card. It begins the journey of tarot. It's someone who is open to every possibility, good, bad, or otherwise. The Fool does not mean that he's foolish. It just means that he's just nubile. He's like he's a baby. He's starting fresh. You're still you. You're very smart. You're very sharp, but you're allowing yourself to feel and to learn through consequence, not through contemplation, but through action. And I think that something about this hard work and this action, it's like you might physically do something where you make mistakes that you could have thought your way through in the past, but you're going to actually get to make those mistakes firsthand, and you're going to realize like, oh, just because I know the outcome doesn't mean it's always going to be the outcome. And I get that what I just said there is very vague and wordy, but if you're listening to this, I hope it does resonate. I think you're someone right now who, I get the impression you don't need money. I think you're good financially. I think you physically don't work very hard. You might work out like a madman. I just think labor-wise, you're not doing any physical labor. I think you are someone who's always been known for having a very strong mind, for being very smart, for being a problem solver. And I think the work you do leans on that and relies on that. And I think you're going to get into something else, whether it's hobby or work. Again, nothing in here about love. And I don't know, so take time might be take time away, which is interesting. And so the last line I'm going to do is, if you do this, I mean, the Fool was a bit of a what's to come, which is so totally the opposite of who you are now. So totally, which I think is exactly what you need. You need to do this like complete 180, and you need to see the world in a whole new way. You need to just be a child again. Just be a kid again. Start fresh. Pretend you don't have all the answers. And it's funny because the Fool, these mountain peaks in the background, they represent like mathematical consistencies in the world, let's say, and that's probably not the right way to describe it, but it has something to do with like mathematics and something to do with how the whole world can be explained through a mathematical equation, or I can't even think of the words for it right now, but it tells me that there is some level of brilliance in this card. So let's just leave it at that. Okay, and this is what's going to happen if you pull all this off. Let's see here. And a lot of these cards came up in my previous readings, but I stop my tape and I shuffle for like 2 minutes straight. So I do want you to know that I shuffled thoroughly. So yeah, these are definitely your cards. Okay. I'm going to read it just like this. I think you... Okay, now I'm going to read it like this. What you have to look forward to is simple pleasures. I mean, the Fool and simple pleasures go together. This is the whole... but there's endless complexities that the Fool encounters, don't get me wrong, but there is also this level, it's like seeing everything through the eyes of a child. It's, the Fool's on a journey, but we don't know what that journey is. That journey could be like going from your bedroom to the living room. It could be anything. It could be someone who hasn't, okay, let's say you've been ill and you haven't left your bedroom in a month or a year, and you walk to the kitchen and you haven't done that. Like, that's your journey. Your journey can be anything, but it is seeing the world through a different lens. And to me, it is simple pleasures. It's a childlike, earnest goodness, sweetness. And I feel like this is you on your simple yet quite spiritually elaborate journey. But it's gonna lead you to a kinder place. You're kinder here. You're curious here. And you as this King of Swords, Queen of Swords, it's not to say you aren't curious, but you're so, like, to me, curiosity is like, there's that, like, oh, I wonder, when you're curious about something, it's so obviously implying that you don't know the answer, and you're curious, you're excited to know the answer. But I feel like you're someone, you just dive into the research. You don't even spend time being curious. You're like, oh, I'm just going to get to the root of this. But this to me is like a sweet, childish innocence, curiosity, kindness. And I feel like with this, I just think it's going to be death of all these thoughts, this person that you've been that's so strong mentally. I think with that has come a weight, and I honestly think that we're going to get rid of that person. That person is going to lighten up. They're not going to be so quick to like judge or harp or always know the answer. And you're gonna have options. After that, you're emotionally gonna be very open. I think that you're gonna find that you have a whole set of like dreams and fantasies and curiosities, and it's magic. And this is magic. This whole line here is magic. But you know, it's funny because this is a reading about romance, and I'm so sorry, but how funny that the one card that said the picture that said take time, I didn't know what take time would mean, but I think it means just, it's not your time for love or romance right now. And it's not to say you can't make your relationship work, but I don't see in this reading how you would do that. I'm not saying you can't do it, but this reading isn't giving the answers as to how. It's just telling me that like you do need to take time. And I don't want you to think that I don't think you're I mean, you shouldn't care at all what I think, but I'm saying through this reading, I'm not saying that you are someone who isn't nice, but I think you are, it's like you're too smart for your own good. That's who I think you are, and that is fantastic that you're smart, but try being the fool. Try working your mind and body in a way that you haven't, because you quite frankly don't need to. I think you have the financial backing and the opportunities to never work your body this way, but I think it's going to be very good for you, and I think it's going to help you on this spiritual journey that you're going to be on. And spiritually speaking, you do have I mean, there's passion in you. You are alive. You need to be awakened, but you are absolutely passionate, and you are someone like the person who's right for you, whether it's your Knight of Cups or not. You will find this relationship with them where they just devour your mind, but you have to be able to soften to them. You have to show them that silly side of you that isn't always right and doesn't always need to be right. And that's your relationship, your next relationship, or your current. I don't say anything about your current relationship. I'm sorry. So take time. Take time for your relationship. I'm sorry, I'm not laughing. Okay, that's your reading. I hope you liked it. We'll have more to come, so there'll be more to give you hope if this didn't. But I think it's beautiful. I think you have so many qualities that so many people want. And I think you're truly gifted with things that not everyone else is. And I think if you like counted your blessings, you'd be like, wow, I'm very fortunate. I just need to live my life a little differently and think a little differently and approach things differently. So yeah, thank you so much. I'm going to shuffle these cards again and go in for my next one, but take time. Thank you. I want to start off by thanking you. I said in my other pictures before this, and by pile I meant to say picture 4, beautiful. Yes, I'm new to YouTube. That's not a secret. You're probably one of the first people to watch this video, and if you've made it this far, thank you so much. And I hope to make more of these. I hope whomever tunes in the beginning finds something and gets something out of it, because I want to really contribute to the online tarot world that YouTube is creating, because it's so cool, it's so real, it's so accurate, and I am so inspired by the artists that are on YouTube doing this. They're just so talented, and I think all of us have, and I'm grouping myself in with them right now, but we all have something to offer, and I think all our readings can speak to different feelings and points and inspire different things. So I just really hope you enjoyed this. So thank you so much. The word on your flower was beautiful, and the last 3 readings I did really made sense based on the words. And we might not know initially what that means or feels like, but as I go on with the reading, it's like, oh my goodness, this is exactly what full bloom meant, or love yourself, or take time. So they were very, very true to the words. So let's see where we get with beautiful. So I'll start off with getting the first line going here. So I'm just thinking for a moment here. All right, I'll leave it the way it is. I'm gonna say, okay, Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands, Knight of Pentacles, the High Priestess. This is intense. It's intense because it is high female energy. It is, the Queen of Wands is, it's passionate, it's fiery, it's like, it's everything. It's sexual, it's, I say passion, but there's something, the Queen of Wands is, she's the woman, she's the mother you want to be. And I don't just mean mother, like, in the sense that she has kids, but there's something nurturing, there's something feminine, there's something like ultra feminine about her. And there's a passion that she has, but there's a control. She's not out of control, even though she is all action, like the wands are. She has this, she knows exactly what she wants. And that's the thing, but she wants passion, she wants fire, she wants excitement, she wants to ignite people, she wants to inspire, and she's sure that she knows who she is. And yes, so I'm going to say that there's a glare here for sure. I'm going to say you're the Queen of Wands. I'm going to say the Knight of Pentacles is kind of like your alter ego, maybe, someone who is actually quite grounded, quite logical, non-rushing, not hasty, balanced. And this is like the masculine energy that is more thoughtful. It's a funny card to have sandwiched between the Queen of Wands and the High Priestess, because then you get to the High Priestess and she's magic. She's higher power. She's higher wisdom. She's intuition. She's the person that holds all the secrets. She is also feminine energy. She's the moons in all their phases. She's the third eye. She's all knowing. The High Priestess is definitely, she's that like badass bitch, feminine energy. Whereas the Queen of Wands isn't, she's a badass, but she's nothing to fear. She's the person you want to be. The High Priestess is like the very sexy CEO to me. That's the High Priestess, who can be a bitch, who can have secrets, who can be difficult, who can be someone you never really get close to. Whereas the Queen of Wands is like, you want to be her. And the Knight of Pentacles, I don't know what he's doing here, but he definitely, we need something to offset this energy. So this is beautiful. And it's so balanced. That's the thing. Like, there's so much balance here. We've got two pillars here balancing. We've got these two lions looking out and balancing. And he is like, he's not in motion. He's really focused on his home. He's focused on like, he knows what he wants, just as these women know what they want. He knows what he wants, and he wants a solid foundation. He wants to be set, career, family, home, and he's not rushing, and he's actually there is something simple and slightly humbled about this particular knight. Of all the knights in the deck, there's 4 of them. He's the nicest. He might be the most boring, but he also might be the smartest. In fact, I'm going to say he is the smartest, and which at the end of the night would make him the most interesting. So yes, the Knight of Pentacles. So let's say this is you. I just feel like this whole reading is you. Like, you're her, you're him. And that's beautiful. As far as love goes, any man in the world would fall head over heels in love with this person, because all the elements are here. There's strength, there's wisdom, there's confidence, there's power, there's balance, there's groundedness, there's nothing flighty about this person, but there's everything like sexy and fiery about this person. Even if these cards don't translate that to you, even if you can't see them because of the glare, just know that this is a great first line. But I'm not getting energy from anyone else here. So let's go to the next one. Okay, so for this next line, I'm gonna take this as your partner. I'm gonna say that your partner is the King of Pentacles here, and that doesn't mean that you're the woman and he's the man. It's an energy. But the King of Pentacles is it's this guy squared, right? It's someone who is very balanced, very even-keeled. I wouldn't say he never loses his cool, but I would say he is like the home, I don't want to say homemaker, but he is the guy that like, he wants to make the money to support his family, to have the beautiful home. I'm not saying he never messes up, but he is the most, he knows exactly what he wants, okay? He wants the job, he wants the family, he wants the image, he wants everything to look and actually be good. He is a good guy. And you do have that younger energy of him, but you don't have quite the level of intensity that this guy has. But in a relationship, for you guys, not looking at these two cards yet because they're quite contrasting, you guys are balanced in the sense that you are like everything that is feminine, mighty, strong, beautiful, smart, capable, successful, and he is like the male version of that. And that's powerful. You guys are a power couple. I'm going to say that right now. He does appear to be the breadwinner. I'm not saying you're not, but it would appear that he is. You, however, are still bringing in money. You're making money. You are quite successful, and more to the point, you are confident. You know what you're doing. You don't sit back and wonder if you've picked the right career path, if you're doing the right thing. You are not lost. You are not stressed, you're not confused. I mean, you're very, very strong. And it's funny because this reading is like, too bad everyone didn't pick this reading because it's a great reading. I mean, maybe everyone did, maybe everyone wanted the beautiful, but really this is about picking the words that resonate with you. And yeah, I mean, people are so hard on themselves. Maybe most people didn't pick the title that said beautiful. But I want to get to these other two cards because if this is your partner and he's the King of Pentacles, this is essentially a card of heartbreak / betrayal. But this is a card to me of, here we have apathy, we have a feeling of like, just ho-hum. So I want to say, if I'm reading this right, your partner's been hurt. He's had his heart broken. And he is somewhat, I'm going to say apathetic. And I'm reading these cards so literally, but that's actually the message I'm getting here. So your partner, although he is very successful, very capable, this hasn't seemed to slow him down at all. However, it may have taken away a little bit of his passion. You bring the passion so hard and so confidently and so securely that I don't think it's really an issue, but I do think there's something solemn to him, that I think if things are going to work with you guys down the road or long term, or if you want things to continue to be good, you're going to have to work and address the fact that I think he is going through something because of an element of heartbreak. And I don't know what that heartbreak is. It could have been like the loss of a parent. It could have been infidelities from you, quite possibly, or from him, and he feels so much guilt. I'm not sure, but there's something that has really hurt him. And the thing is, it has affected him. And the fact that I see that I feel apathetic makes me think that you might have betrayed him in some way, but I don't want to paint you with that brush. But betrayal doesn't mean doesn't necessarily mean you cheated on him physically. There are other ways someone can feel betrayed. And I think that your man is, or partner is so intense and confident and smart and balanced and together that it might not take a whole lot to wound him. Meaning he's so, like if anything bad happened to him, he would be like, how could this happen? I've done everything for it not to happen, so that when it did happen, it would be that much more devastating. Whereas someone who is living a careless life, let's say the consequence of their actions, things are always happening and they're used to it, whereas I don't think this guy is so used to it. He's probably like, I've taken every precaution to do everything by the book to make sure everything right is happening, and it still did. But I don't want to harp too much on these cards, but they did come up. So let's get more to why this is beautiful. Okay, so we've got the Empress, we've got the World, and these are the Empress, the World, Justice, like they're beautiful cards. And it's a cool reading because I think this is, to me, it's like, this is him, this is you, this is him. And we're going back to you, and it's reminding yourself. Okay, so the Empress is all the physical beauty, all the femininity, all the sexual prowess, all of the highest card in the deck that represents that is the Empress. You want this card in any reading of love, in any reading of anything, you want the Empress to come up. But let me tell you, when she comes up in your reading of love, it is the best thing. So this is reminding me that whatever happened here to him, you have the power to correct it or to make him get through this heartbreak and this sort of apathetic slump that he's in. You have that power. And this is me saying, like, you are his woman, you are his counterpart. You guys are power couple doesn't even do justice. I mean, and I don't just think you're a power couple for the world to see. I think when you're alone behind closed doors, you guys are so connected. You are so deeply connected, and you get each other and you understand each other. I think you guys came from very similar backgrounds and upbringings. I think you guys share so many commonalities, whether it's like anything from like religion, politics, I don't know what else I can throw into that, but like you are on spirituality, you're on the same page. And I don't think you guys don't fight a lot, but I think you definitely, there's passion. There's just a ton of passion, and that passion is that you guys really get each other, and you love building your home. You love the appearance that you guys put out to the world. And yeah, I think that your guy is struggling, your partner, I'm sorry, is struggling with this. And I think that you just need to remind him that you guys really are, you're each other's counterpart. You really are, like, let's say you are the only person in the world meant for each other. And that's super extreme and not even true, but that's what this reading is showing me. Like, you guys can accomplish anything together. And I think that both of you know, I think you guys both know this. I don't think, there's nothing about this that makes me think your relationship's in jeopardy in any way. It makes me think that your partner needs to get back to center. Maybe he needs to forgive a little, but I think he just needs to work on himself a little bit and move on from whatever this heartbreak is. And I didn't want to pin you with it being like infidelity. It could be something that has nothing to do with you, like the loss of a family member or something, but he will move on from this, and you are the person to get him through this. And the Justice card is interesting to me too, because it's such a card of like, it's heart. There's heart in this card. There's fairness. This is the card of like, if this then that, but in a way that's like, it makes perfect sense. Like, maybe one of you did hurt the other, not intentionally betray, not do anything to, not intentionally hurt the other. That's not how you guys operate. You guys are So totally on an even keel that if you hurt the other, you'd be hurting yourself, and you see that. But there's something here that tells me that whatever happened, he doesn't blame you. Your partner forgives you, and you are such a good person, a good partner, really. Whether or not you're a good person doesn't even play into this, but you're such a good and fair and honest and loving partner that there's justice in whatever's going on here. Everything's even. You're on an even playing field, and I'm trying to think. It's like you guys have both given it your all, and you'll get everything out of it. And this is beautiful. And I'm going to say, I don't even know what the problem here is. I think the problem is that, what's the problem? Or is this, there's not so much a problem. I think you guys, you're so in touch. And there is, the passion between you guys comes from how in tune you are, how similar you are, how tuned into the other you are. And I'm gonna get another line because I don't know that there is a problem, and there doesn't have to be a problem. I mean, quite frankly, your title was beautiful, and that you guys are, I also think you guys are physically a very beautiful couple. And so King of Cups, Ace of Wands, Two of Pentacles. For the King of Cups, let me see here. What am I doing? Okay, so I think that I'm not sure who's the King of Cups, because this is someone who's more in touch with their emotions. I think it's you. Actually, it is you, because I think that the King of Pentacles can almost never be the King of Cups. I think the Queen of Wands could be the Queen of Cups also, but I just don't see it from the King of Pentacles. I think that emotionally, this guy can be emotionally detached. And to this point, it just makes me realize there might not have been heartbreak, but he might be emotionally detached, this person. There might be something where maybe he's working too much, or he's too focused on a goal where he's kind of pulling away. So yeah, maybe less to the point that something bad happened. Maybe he's kind of losing himself, and you really need to lean in hard with this feminine energy and showing him, like, look, like, you're gonna give what you get out of this relationship. We've always been in tune, but maybe that is starting to, maybe there's just ever so slightly some work that needs to be put into it, but it is beautiful what you guys have, because there is a balance and an understanding that is, I just feel like you guys could not even say a word and just know exactly what the other wants, what the other needs. Like, you guys could, I don't know, like, go to some fancy, like, corporate dinner or something together and, like, never say a word and know exactly what you would want the other to do, how you want them to act, what you want them to say to so-and-so. I just feel like there's this, like, I've got your back situation going on here, and that is beautiful. I mean, this is like a ride or die kind of relationship, even though it's very highfalutin. I think, like, it's very there's a rawness to it, and there is an edge. But yeah, you are the King of Cups. You are, not only are you everything that's feminine and beautiful and amazing, you know your feelings, you're in tune. So this is how you guys balance each other. It is a balancing act. I do think it's a juggling act, and I do think that there's a part of you that wants to be more creative and wants to maybe independently do your own thing, maybe start your own business. Maybe you play such a supportive role, or you are doing something that is equally high earning, but you just, it's not necessarily what you want to be doing. But I I feel like through this next line that you are very much the emotional glue that holds this relationship together in a good way, and your partner needs you to be. That's who you are. That's the role you play. You emotionally stimulate this person who is so high-powered and so capable of earning and building a home and nurturing a family, that you come in with the emotions. But yeah, there is definitely, it can be a juggling act, and I think that it can take a lot out of you, and you want your own outlet, your own creative outlet. And I think, like, if there's one thing this relationship needs, it probably is that you do need to take a step away and do something for yourself, to really hold on to that Empress energy and that potential of the world, and to even get that fairness out of it. Like, you know, you want this relationship to maintain that level of balance and fairness, and I think that you're gonna have to do something for yourself, and I know that's not really how you guys operate, and some relationships are like this, where everything is this joint effort and unit, and I think that really works for some people, but I do get the feeling that you are gonna have to find some space on your own. And I think your man is going to completely, your partner is going to get that and understand that. I don't get that there's any sense of pushback. I think you might grapple with the idea or be hesitant, but just remember, you are so strong. You're such a communicator. You're such a feeler. He already knows this, and all you have to do is communicate it. And if you do that, here's what I see for you, which is really awesome. I see everything for you. I mean, the sun it's like heaven opening up, you know, it's fire and passion, it's success, it's vitality, it's just the sun shining on you. And it's shining on both of you guys. And, you know, of these, this is the 4th romance reading I've done. I haven't seen the sun come up once, because this is a beautiful reading, which is, it's so funny. This reading wouldn't have had place anywhere else in the 4 pictures that I've talked about, but this is beautiful. There's no doubt about that. And it really tracks. So yeah, I think kind of just establishing your own creative activity, your own private peace within this relationship, something maybe you haven't had, and maybe you haven't even wanted for it, but you've thought about it, and I think it might be something you need. But yeah, it's gonna just bring about more energy, more passion. I do think that I think there's always gonna be this kind of like, it's not going to change the dynamic of your relationship. Let's put it that way. I mean, and you don't even want it to. I think your relationship is structured. I think your relationship is heavily structured. I think you're in a good way. There's so many like patterns and habits and rituals that you guys have, and it works for you. And whatever it is you guys are doing, it works. So yeah, I mean, it could be, there's so many things that come to mind, ritually speaking, that couples do that could work. And I feel like you guys are that couple. And I think you guys seem like a couple that would absolutely go to therapy and have a therapist tell you, hey, try this, do this. And maybe you've been working on these things for years. I mean, maybe 10 years ago, a therapist is like, if you guys have sex 3 nights a week and, you know, make margaritas and cook together 2 nights a week, you're going to have the best life ever. And maybe you've been doing that and it works. But I just feel like even if you go off and do your own little creative side piece, it's not going to take away from the structure of your relationship. This is hard and fast and real. And then finally, Ace of Cups, it's just kind of, it really will be, it's needed. It tells me that this piece is needed. There's kind of this fresh, this cleansing of yourself that I think will rejuvenate him. So I think doing this will show your partner, it'll lift them out of, if there is a state of like a slump that he's in, this is really going to lift him. It's going to help him see that like there's there's even more. There's more to you. There's more to the relationship. There's more around the corner. You're going to be happier. You're going to bring more to the table. Not saying that you need to, but you will. And that since you guys are so powerful together, whenever someone brings something up or brings something forward, it's so welcomed by the other. Even if you don't know it initially, it's like, you know, a month later, you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad you made the decision to start doing that, because now look what's happened as a result of that. Yeah, so it tells me that, I don't know, you guys are strong. You're very strong, you're good, you're in tune, you're feeling each other, and yeah, good things are in store, and quite frankly, it's beautiful. I mean, Ace of Cups, the Sun, Justice, the World, the Empress, and I love how strong and alike you guys are. And I love what you guys do for each other. And you have one of those relationships. I'm picturing it like from couples in movies or TV shows where it's like you're so, I'm trying to think of the name of the couple. I can't think of it right now. But it's like that couple that you see out to dinner, or you see them, I don't know, at the grocery store, at the park or whatever, and you can just tell that they're like into one another. Like they, not just into one another like physically, but like they are, like no one could penetrate that. Like no one's penetrating what you guys have. It is beautiful. It is what people want. So yeah, congratulations. Okay, thank you so much to everyone for listening. Thank you for tuning in this long, and please come back. And I just have to say, I made these 4 readings about couples. I didn't even occur to me that someone watching this might not be in a relationship, but maybe this would speak to your last relationship and answer some questions if you wanted to know maybe why your last relationship didn't work out. I don't know. I'll give more readings for sure. Okay, thank you so much. Bye.